Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah. Today I'm going to be doing a library tag. I only recently figured out what tags actually are. Other content creators are supposed to kind of tag you and be like, hey, answer these questions. I did them, you do them too. Well, I don't really know enough people for that. So I tag myself and I tag anyone else that wants to do this. That's kind of how I'm gonna do it. I personally just like answering questions, and the library is my main source for books, so this one just kind of makes sense for me. So let's get right into it. Question 1 is, how often do you visit your local library? Well, right now I'd have to say I go 2 to 3 times a month. It kind of depends on how quickly I get through the books I grab. Sometimes I'll have a stack of smaller books, so then I end up going 3 times, and other times they're a bit thicker, so then it's only twice. But I've only recently started going regularly again since December of 2020, so it's only been a few months of me going back. Alright, question 2. Are you the type of person who checks out more books than you know you can read, or are you someone who only checks out the exact amount of books you intend on reading before they are due? When I was younger, I definitely just kind of checked out like a dozen books at a time, just like hoarded all the books. I was like a book goblin, and I didn't really care if I could read them all or not. I was just devouring books so fast. Now it's a little bit different. I try to only check out about 4 books at a time, because that way I know for sure I can get through them before they're due. Especially if it's a book that I had to put on hold, or if there's like a line for, I don't want to really hold on to that for a long time. I want to read it and get it back so the next person in line can read it. However, right now I kind of have too many books, because I went to the library like I think only a week apart, because they happen to have some books that are usually checked out, but they were all in at once. So I was like, oh, I need to go and grab those before they're gone again. So right now I have some thicker books that I didn't plan on getting yet. So hopefully I can get through everything before I have to give it all back. All right, question 3. How old were you when you got your first library card? Ooh, I learned to read in 1st grade, so I'd have to say I was about 6 years old. I can picture the card in my head so well, and for years it was in a jar on top of my grandma's refrigerator, and I'm pretty sure she actually still has my first library card, but it's one I used for a really long time. It was green, and actually, do I have it? No, that's the new one, I think. I'm gonna have to check and see if it's in my wallet, actually. No, I actually have the newer one. It looks like that. The one I had when I was 6 was this kind of green. I don't think it had like the weird ball thing or anything. I think it just said the name of the library in like big letters and then maybe the address. The back is still pretty much exactly the same though. But they have you sign the library cards, and as a 6-year-old, obviously my signature isn't the best, and they didn't change that library card for a really long time. So I remember being a teenager with a library card that had my 6-year-old signature on it, so that was always kind of embarrassing, checking out books with that crappy signature on it. But yeah, I definitely got use out of that. Alright, question 4. Do you go to your library looking for a particular book, or do you check out anything that piques your interest? So I used to kind of just go there and look at the shelves, especially of like the new book section, and just kind of pick from there. But now that I started the YouTube channel and I actually have like a list of books I'd like to read, I go there with more of a plan, and I'll actually have like a post-it note of the books I want to check out and where they are and their call numbers and all that, because it's just easier. I don't like having to search around for the book I'm looking for, so I like going there with all the information I need. Obviously the library doesn't have like every book on the list I want to read, so once I kind of get through more of those, I'll probably go there with more of an open mind and kind of just look at the shelves and see what piques my interest. Like, I do enjoy reading manga, and it's something I haven't really looked at for a long time, and I've never looked at their section of it at the library, so that's one thing I would like to do someday. And graphic novels is another thing I'd like to get into more. I have checked out some of the Dark Tower series graphic novels that the library had, but unfortunately they had some missing volumes, so it's not something I was able to read like all of, but that is another genre I would like to read more of. Question 5. Do you use your library to check out just books, or do you also check out DVDs, audiobooks, etc.? As of right now, I'm just checking out books. The library also has resources where you can have access to like this site called Mango, which is for 4 languages, which I really need to do more for French. That's something I really should take advantage of more. I think you also have access to like the New York Times or something like that. I can't really remember all of it, but I know you have access to like some databases and other things like that for like if you're doing a research paper for like college or something. But yeah, I actually just stumbled upon their audiobook selection the other day, but it's a section of the library I just never really even thought of checking out before. Alright, question 6. From what section of your library do you check out a majority of your books? YA, middle grade, adult, nonfiction, etc. I definitely just in general check out adult fiction. Quite a few of the books I check out I've noticed have been in more of like the sci-fi section, even though to me they don't really seem like sci-fi books. But yeah, in general it's just adult fiction section. A few of them have been YA. I'm definitely not as into that genre as I was when I was a teenager. I know there is new adult, NA, which is a pretty newly coined term, I believe. And I pretty much took like a decade off of reading books, so I'm kind of interested in reading more of that genre, but I think that's kind of just mixed in with the YA and adult a bit, so. And the last question, question number 7. What is your favorite part of using your local library? Well, obviously being able to check out the books. Before COVID, like they also have a lot of space to like work on your computer or just sit and read and stuff like that. We don't really have access to that anymore because of the pandemic, but I do really like that they have that service. They also did a lot of events where you could like meet the author, and they would have talks with the authors, and there would be people that would come in and you could get like your book signed and stuff like that. And obviously the pandemic has kind of upset that a bit as well, but I just really liked all the events they put on. The library I go to is not free. I just realized I didn't even do an introduction to the library I go to, so I'll do that right now before I forget again. I live in Paris, so the library I go to get all of my English books is the American Library in Paris. So the title is kind of self-explanatory. It's actually really close to the Eiffel Tower, so when I get off the metro and walk there, it's a really pretty walk. It's a really nice, I really like that area, so that's always a fun bit. But yeah, access to the library is not free. It's actually a subscription. Goodness, motorcycle. It's about 15 euros a month, which to me is completely worth it, because I mean that's less than the price of one hardcover book, and right now I'm reading about 8 books a month, so like that's a no-brainer there. And if I utilize more of like the language website, for example, then I'll definitely be getting even more value out of it. But just having access to all of the English language books really means a lot to me, and it's just been a great resource for getting back into this hobby that I love so much but kind of had abandoned for so long. And that's it, I believe. Like I've said before, the library it's the main source of where I get my books. I just do not have a room in this tiny apartment for any bookshelves or anything like that. So having to purchase books and hold on to them is just really difficult. So the library has just been such a lifeline to being able to keep up with reading and finding books that I enjoy. So that's another reason why I wanted to do this video, is just kind of do a shout out to my library and say like how much I appreciate them and what they do. So if you use your library a lot, let me know in the comments below, and just to help give a shout out to your community as well. So thanks for hanging out with me for this little video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe as well. I really appreciate those that do that, and it really helps me out. It lets me know if I'm doing an okay job or not at these. So I will see you next time, and bonne journée and au revoir.